This is a separate sentence. It's just a simple sentence. Now, but there's different ways we can use therefore.
But it's semicolon before.
Because it's one sentence, it's a simple sentence. If I do this, now what does it become?
Compound sentence.
Right. But it only becomes a compound sentence when it's combined with another sentence. If it's by itself, it's a simple sentence. The idea is connected, but the sentences are not.
Mike, the question about the sentence number 4.
Yes.
We have powerful waves and dangerous rocks. It's kind of fanboys.
Yeah. So, right.
Compound sentence.
Let's take a look at. So at number 4. Okay, the first part, up to the comma, is what? At each level up the scale. What is that?
Phrase.
It's a phrase. It's not a clause. Okay. So we have a phrase, not a clause, because there's no verb there. Okay. Then we have the beginning of a sentence. There are an increasing number of what? Waves,
and
which is a noun, and
dangerous rocks.
right, adjective and noun, and adjective and noun. What is that? It's just a,
That's mean and that's kind of fanboys.
it's just a, with the and, it's just a, it's not a sentence that's being combined. So all of these are, with complex and compound, they're sentences. These are just adjectives and nouns with the and. So if you look in your, I think that the book is a good example here. See, in the beginning, if you look under simple sentences on page 164. So this is a good point. If everybody looks on page 164, where we begin kinds of sentences. And this starts just with the simple sentence. But as we know, a simple sentence can grow from a subject and verb to include little introduction phrase, preposition phrases, descriptive adjectives, okay? So, let's look at these different ones. Fresh water boils at 100 degrees Celsius at sea level. Okay. So does my brain a little bit. Okay. That's a simple sentence, right? Okay, we have subject, verb, we got a preposition phrase there, 2 of them. Next one, fresh water boils at 100 degrees and freezes. So, what do we have combined here? What kind of words?
2 verbs.
2 verbs, right. It's still a simple sentence, but we're combining with that and, not 2 sentences, but 2 verbs. Okay. So it's still a simple sentence. Third example. Fresh water and salt water do not boil and do not freeze at the same temperatures. Okay, so here, okay, we have, yeah, okay. So we don't have 2 sentences. We just have a combination of subjects that are combined and verbs that are joined together. Okay, so that's the difference. When we're talking about, so simple sentences can kind of be deceiving sometimes, can kind of be tricky with that and. Okay, so we really need to look we're combining here? Are we combining another two sentences, or an independent clause and a dependent clause? Or just adjectives and nouns, or verbs and verbs, or subjects and subjects? If it's just subjects and subjects, subjects, verbs, and subject verbs, okay, or adjectives and nouns, okay, then it's still a simple sentence. Even though it's kind of becoming a little more, kind of a more complex simple sentence, okay. Now, if you look on the next page, here we have the compound sentence, okay. So take a look when we have, with the first one was so, what do we have right after so? We have a subject, food, and a verb, cooks. Okay, so we have, here we're combining two sentences with, in conjunction, one of the fanboys, right? So compound sentences, we use fanboys. Well, not all of them. We also have therefore, okay, and some other connectors, transitions. But there are two sentences there, okay? And for words like therefore and however, and for instance, for example, those we have to use that or a semicolon and then a comma after it, okay? And that makes it a compound sentence, okay?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What's the difference between so, sometimes we saw a comma before so, and sometimes we don't have?
Yeah, so, good question. Okay. I didn't feel well, so I went to see Dr. Pio. Okay, he's in the class. Anyway. So, good question. Here we have, and this is really important, a subject that comes after the connector. Okay, so we have another separate sentence here. Now, okay, with this it's kind of hard to change it, but let's try a different one. Okay, I didn't feel well. What's the difference here?
We don't have subject.
Right. We really, so if we have that subject, I didn't feel well, and I put a subject in here, then we gotta put that comma there, because we have two sentences, compound sentence. Okay. But if I don't have one here, we know this goes with that.